Hopefully it does. Should come up on my phone at any moment. Actually, maybe it won't because I'm on a different thing. Because lately we've had to go in and like retype in the key or whatever. Oh, we are on there? Yay. Look at that.
We're live right now?
Yep. It just came up on my thing, so now I can get in. I brought my laptops so I can get into the chat.
And
are we going to wait a minute for the people to kind of come in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can just banter.
Pivot is 47 seconds.
47 seconds?
Yep.
That's hardly enough time to pee.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Anyway,
I have to really pee.
I got my bottom end, my engine all put back together. My Minarelli.
Oh.
And so I put the new crank in it. Let's see here. So like that's that's all you can really see, but so like I pressed these cases together with the special tools that I got. Then I put a new ignition system in it on this side. And I like made it look all sweet and stuff.
Cool.
So it should be cool. Like there's all the wiring for the wiring harness that I got to wire. And then I deleted all the oil injection stuff. I spent like 2 hours cleaning this case, but it looks like brand new again. So that's pretty sweet.
Totally.
But my new exhaust should be here sometime this week. The place that I order my stuff from, had to special order it for me. This other part, they had a special order for me.
Yeah.
But I'm still waiting on stuff. And then, like, I started taking my bike apart and just cleaning it. And so, like, this thing was, like, completely caked in, like, two-stroke oil and gas and stuff. And so I was using liquid wrench to break down all the oil and stuff. And, like, this thing was, like, had, like, a pound of garbage in it from stuff leaking and getting spilled on it.
Oh.
But this thing looks like brand new now. So, pretty excited. Should be pretty sweet when I'm done with it.
Sweet.
But, yeah.
We got some guys on here. Nick Petrazak, if I'm not killing his last name. Jason Haley's on here. Chris Nunez is on here. So, pretty cool.
Interesting.
I think there's 12 people on right now. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So,
sweet.
Will is still hanging out at home, waiting for his clearance to come back to racing. Right?
Yeah. I think I may race next Friday.
Yeah.
Maybe. Planning on it. When do we switch back to Saturdays for dirt?
January 14th? Wait, what is it? 7 days after January 9th, so it'd be 16th.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not too far away.
No, not
so I'll
really.
probably get in the last couple club races before Christmas break.
It gives me time to get Emerson and I's cars ready to go again. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting to see if they what they do with their restrictions, you know?
Mm-hmm. Stuff's going down.
Right now we're still...
I'm hopeful we go back to 50% after December 31st.
What are we at now?
25% capacity.
Oh, we're still at 25?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were at 50.
Yeah. Which it doesn't affect club racing at all because we never get 75 people for club racing.
Right.
But it did.
Right. That'd be like
we'll talk about that here in a minute because the Techno Series was pretty full.
Yeah, I noticed.
I'll start us off. Johnny S is back on here. Peter Renault's on here again. He said hockey is canceled because he's from Canada. That's what they do up there.
What?
Okay, this is Alex Surgeon with the Hobbytown HobbyPlex, and with me as always is our co-host
Will Brinton.
And we're here to talk about lots of stuff today. We got the Techno Series to talk about. We've got I want to talk about the J Concepts INS 11, which we can now finally talk about, and then I want to get to questions. So should be a pretty easy, fun show.
Yeah, a rich, full show.
Yeah. As always, this show is sponsored by Pivot Lending Group. You can find them at pivotlending.com. And if you mention our show, ask for Don Zoller, mention our show. If you end up going through a home loan or refinance, something cool like that, any of the products they have there, it's a $500 lender credit or 1.125 off of your interest rate, which is always really good. And they've pushed this show now for almost a year. I think it was late January when we came on, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because we started the first Monday of January, and it was going to be a once a month deal, and then after the first couple shows, Aiden Olson's dad was like, "Hey, I got an offer for you, so you can do it weekly," and that's how this came about. So, yep. Well, let's get right into it because we got a lot to talk about. First, I want to talk about the J Concepts Indoor National Series, officially 11, even though most of last year didn't happen, right? So last year was supposed to be INS 10 years of it, and then I think they ran the St. Louis one, and then all of a sudden, poof, all the COVID stuff happened, and they were all pretty much canceled after that.
Yeah, I ran that one.
Yeah, you did.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened was we were awarded that race, the February race, INS 11, round number 1. And I had been pushing Jason for a while because we used to hold the finals in December.
Mm-hmm.
The first 3 years. And then we held the Nats in 2016, and he's like, "Hey, you're holding the Roar Nats. Why don't we do the INS somewhere else?" And I'm like, "Okay, I mean, that's fine." And I expected it to get it back at some point, and I was really pushing for either a spring or a fall. The spring race is always at Scott Brown's track in Tacoma. And, that's a really popular one, so there was no shot at getting that date. And then October sprung up, and it went to the RC Clubhouse starting last year. So Smack Track came under new ownership, and I think they did something with the pits or something like that, and they don't have quite the capacity. And so it's back at the Plex. And you know what? I should be getting the flyer here any moment from the official race flyer from Boom RC. And I was going to kind of make an announcement, put it on Live RC and all that other fun stuff. And, we're now 2 months away, and I'm like, I got to get sign up started. So I had RC sign up on there ready to go like November 4th or something like that. But I pushed it, to actually allow people to enter. And then I didn't realize that I had November 28th to start. And so I had Tom Smith called me. He's like, "Hey, did you know RC sign up is live with the J Concepts race?" I was like, "Oh crap, it's not supposed to be." And I went on there. Luckily, nobody had signed up yet, so I very quickly turned it off and I put it for December 1st. And then this time, I just kind of let it go. Well, we're already at 76 entries with no promotion. None.
I didn't even know the race was open yet.
Yeah, no promotion, no nothing. I just had it on there as like a soft opening, and we're already at 76 entries. So,
wow.
But I did want to mention, and this is the crappy thing about this. I thought for sure we'd be done with this sort of thing by now, because it's going into, it'll be 10 months, right? Because it started in March, and now it's December. But Nebraska has not very lockdownish style COVID restrictions, but we do have a 25% capacity rule, which did affect around 2 of the Techno series. I could only take 75 people inside because that's how many pit spots we have, and they were all 8-foot pit spots, so everybody was 6. In theory, everybody is going to be about 6 foot away from one another with all the pits spread out and everything. And if they're supposed to expire December 31st, if they get renewed, my hope is that with the numbers in our state steadily going down, I mean, it's trickling, but it is happening, perhaps by the end of December, will be allowed to go to 50% capacity, right? Minimum.
Right.
If that happens, we can do this race because that's 150 people. I actually cut it off at 140 people. So, because that's how many pit spots we really have when everything is set up full. But if it's at 25% capacity for the whole month of January, well, then we're like 7 days after that in February. So
yeah,
we'll have to make a decision as to whether or not we can still hold the race or not. And that decision is going to have to come at the latest middle of January because people have got to make travel plans,
Right.
So hopefully December 31st rolls around. Maybe things will be looking up. We can at least get it reduced to 50% capacity. Then I'm not really worried about it because the official capacity in the pit area is 307 people. So half of that's 153. We'll call it that. So, so I'm actually not. So we've had some prepaid entries already. I'm not ringing any of those up. I'm just leaving them in the PayPal account because if we do have to cancel the race, I'll have to refund everybody. And if I ring everybody up, then it'll be in the store. Then what'll happen is it'll be hard. It'll be more difficult to get their money back. So, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be one of those things. So, or we might be able to, maybe we change the format, do a stock on one day and mod on the other sort of thing.
Maybe.
I mean, that's possible. Mike Fuller just mentioned that. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But I did want to mention that now because I know we've been kind of hinting at it for almost a year. So basically, ever since I found out, I think it was like May. So the entries are live on rcsignup.com, and you don't. In fact, it's set up so that you prepay. We're actually going to be using the store PayPal account for it. But I'm going to post. If we do have it, I'm going to post a date. It'll be like January, 25th or something like that. That you got to have everything paid by. Otherwise, you're going to get erased off the list, especially if it fills up. If it doesn't fill up, I won't worry about it, but I am expecting it to fill up. So
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
I'm
looking. I want to race 40 plus and mini truggy.
Yeah, those are good classes.
Yeah,
you aren't going to race 4-wheel?
No.
Why not?
Well, if you must know, I know I've been preaching the last couple years about sponsorships and all that, and I have kept the J Concept sponsorship because I really like Jason.
Yeah,
he's been a supporter of the Plex for so long, and it just seemed like the right fit. Plus, their tires work really well at our track and just about everywhere else. But this weekend I was kind of thinking about it, and I accepted a techno sponsorship.
Yeah.
And my current 4-wheel drive car is a Losi 22X4. And
just get another 4-wheeler. You're sponsored.
I know, and I may, but I'm also running the race, so I want to limit it to 2 classes, and there's no way I'm not running 40 plus. And I really love my mini truggy. So
yeah.
So what did it for me? The whole sponsorship thing, honestly, was the freaking instruction manual, man. Building that techno truck and how superb the instructions were. I'm like, I could run for these guys. And their 2.0, all their new 8-scale stuff looks even better than their old 8-scale stuff, which always look good. The cars are always, the 8-scale stuff's always been very durable. They've always had a lot of steering. But the new cars look even more, to me, they look more peppy on the track now. Like you can really see them, really getting into the track. And it's not just Jared's car. It's other people's car who has the 2.0. There's a guy, Jesse Ellithorpe. He just got a 2.0 8-scale and a techno and a truggy, mini truggy. And I was out there marshalling on a Friday night and I was watching his car and I was like, whoa, That car looks really good, and then it's straight box stock setup.
Yeah.
So more than likely, I will have an electric 8 scale here, probably not for round 3 of the Techno Series, but definitely for round 4 and 5. And then we'll see what I do this summer. I do want to. Emerson really wants to race Nitro again. I want to be a pit dad for him again because I enjoyed that, and so we'll probably have some sort of Nitro car for the summertime. I'll try to. What I really want to do, I want to go hit that Cheyenne race that they have in August. Those guys have been coming here for the last couple of years. I feel like we need to reciprocate a little bit. I know Derek Wood went to that race last year, so so that's kind of what I was hoping to do. I'm going to get together with Graham and those guys and see when that race is scheduled, so I don't accidentally put the summer series on it, and then maybe I'll be able to go. So
that'd be cool.
So I'll be wearing a Techno shirt every once in a while here when we get going. So the cool thing about it too. And this is the only reason why I was like, I'll do that. Let's do it. Is I get to run any 2-wheel drive I want. I still have that freedom. If I didn't have that freedom, I'd have been like, I'm good. I can run whatever I want. But the Truggy's so fun, and the 8-scale stuff's always been good. And their 4-wheel drive solid. I mean, it's a rock solid car, super durable. So so that's the plan. Nice lead in there. I know I told you, I think that was about the only person I really told.
Well, you posted that thing on Facebook.
Yeah, it wasn't official there. It was kind of like can you guess what this means?
Yeah. I knew it.
I love it when people do that on Facebook though, where they put changes coming and they don't leave anything, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be like, hey, check out this banner. What do you think this means?
Yeah.
So there you go. It's it'll be fun. It'll be something different, and I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, sure.
Speaking of techno, we got a lot to talk about with this. I know you weren't there. But were you did you check up on us at all on Live RC?
No.
Okay.
I honestly, like all weekend. So on Sunday, my wife went to go see her mom.
Yeah.
And her mom lives in like near Council Bluffs area, and then they went to her grandma's. They went to Nebraska Furniture Mart and whatever. And then, but I was by myself like all day on Sunday. So Saturday, I got up and I came downstairs. I put The Sopranos on, and I was working on scooter stuff. And then Sunday, I did the same thing. I just watched The Sopranos all day.
So last week I got sick. And it scared me a little bit. So
did you have COVID?
I did not have COVID. So
okay, that's good.
I could feel it Saturday. So Saturday we had to run carpet racing. Friday night, we set up the track. Friday night at Saturday morning at 1 a.m. I started to get a sore throat, and I'm like, oh crap, really? And then Saturday I'm like, well, let's see how I feel tomorrow. I was made sure to wear my mask all day. Was sucking down cough drops all day, and I'm like, all right, well if I don't feel good tomorrow, I better stay home. And I can count the number of times that I've called in sick at the Plex in my hand in 16 years. So in one hand. So that's a big deal if I'm calling in sick. But right now, it's almost like you're obligated to call in sick if you feel sick because you don't know what you have. Because if you do have COVID,
trying to kill us.
Yeah, if you do have COVID, you could infect your entire crew, and then the next thing you know, the store's got to close, which would be really bad. So Sunday morning I woke up, felt like crap. I felt like I got run over by a truck. No fever. I could still taste. I could still smell. And I actually did go in to ring up entries for the Dirt Oval race. And then before noon, I told everybody, I said, I'm going home. I shouldn't be around any more people than this. Pretty much slept all day. Monday morning I woke up. I'm like, all right, if I wake up Monday and I still feel like crap, I better call my doctor. And I still felt the same way. Got run over by a truck. Had a little bit, had a sore throat. Nose full of everything. Still no fever. Still could smell and taste. Called my doctor, and she made me go get a COVID test. And this COVID test had a really fast turnaround time, which is really good. So I missed work Tuesday, and then I was gonna miss work on Wednesday. I missed like half a day because the COVID test came back negative. I actually felt fine by Tuesday night and Wednesday. So I just waltz back into work. The problem is doing that, basically race prep for a series race, no matter if it's the Techno Series or the Summer Series, I pretty much spend sometimes Sunday night, Monday night, and then all day Tuesday working on the track.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to do that. So the track was the same layout. Honestly, that shouldn't matter to anybody because we've only raced one Friday night club race on it since the last Techno Series race. So it's not like anybody's gaining an advantage or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did go back to work, I just poured water on it Wednesday and Thursday and a little bit on Friday morning. But the track, you could definitely tell it broke up a lot more than it normally does. Just because it didn't get the appropriate amount of prep work. I would have watered, taken the tractor out, run up and down the straightaway a whole bunch to try to squish everything back together. I would have filled a little bit more gaps and holes and stuff like that, but just didn't happen just because of that. So, it still made for really good racing. The track layout's pretty fun. That big kicker is pretty dangerous. So that'll be the last time that's there. But that being said, we had 188 entries.
Wow.
Yeah. And here's why. So I had a whole bunch of people that didn't get into the race and they still wanted to come. And I'm like, well, look, if you pit outside, if you have a trailer or something and you pit outside, fine. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't break any of the capacity rules. Everybody can still stay away from one another for the most part. So we had 5 or 6 trailers out there full of people. So even though it said 105 drivers on the entry list, there was still 75 households inside. So it still didn't seem packed to the point where it has been in the past where all 105 or 110 people for this race have been inside. There was still plenty of space, it looked like, from the top view. But 188 entries,
Yeah, and you're not going to have 75 people in the dirt track at one time.
No, you're not. Definitely not. So, so it was all right. Plus, we're killing ourselves with nitro smoke inside.
Yeah, I don't know if anything could survive that. So,
so we had a big day. I mean, there was 21 heats, and it took. We were doing about 3 hours around. I think we started at 1:30. We finished first round at. We started at 10:30, and we finished the first round right about 1:40ish.
Yeah.
And I think we started the mains just a little bit past 5. So we got done about 11:10, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get the videos up. I took video of Mini Truggy, the last 15 minutes of Expert Nitro, and then the entire e-buggy Expert main again. I think next round I'll do the Sportsman because they don't get any love. But this round, Jared was there and Tom Rindernecht was there and Mason was there, so it was going to be a good race. So I wanted to get that on video, and then Mini Truggy because I was in it.
Definitely gotta have that. So,
where do we start here? So the cool thing is there's only 6 classes. The crazy thing is there was a Sportsman Buggy E-Main. I think we ended up with 40-something cars. Which, I mean, that's pretty much par for the course. I think our finals last year was 181, I think is what we ended up with, the last race of the year. And that was literally the day before, the 2 days before all the major COVID restrictions happened.
Yeah.
So that was about right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So I like to knock out the Nitro buggy mains first. I kind of feel like Expert Nitro is kind of the pinnacle race of the weekend, and it's nice to get that one in first because you still have marshals from Sportsman, and plus everybody's still there. Sometimes at the end of the night, a lot of people have left.
Yeah.
So Sportsman buggy Nitro. So last round you had Lucas Baker pretty much dominate everybody. He had a TQ and a win, and I think he won by like 2 laps. This round, not so much.
No.
John Davies was your TQ. I think Lucas had some engine trouble in the first one, if I remember right. But Philip Hoke got the lead on like the opening lap, and never was seen again. And he won by 2 laps.
Wow.
So 46 laps,
That's trucking.
20 minutes. He was, I believe him and Grady Ashton are actually using the same cars. I think Grady's racing Expert and he's racing Sportsman.
That's cool.
Yeah. So he was ripping. Brody Ignachewski, him, his dad John, and the other one, I can't remember his first name yet, but I know he's going to be in here, I believe. Got second with 44 laps. John Davies was third. Tim Crystal, who last month wrecked his knee in practice and couldn't stick around for the main, he finished fourth. Josh Shout was one of your bumpers, finishing fifth. Brad Horsch finished sixth. Scott Sroof was another one of your bumpers, finishing seventh. And then Jake Wilkening was eighth. Lucas Baker broke his car in warm-up. I waited about as long as I could with 9 other guys ready to go. I was, my microphone was out of batteries, so I was like, all right, guys, I gotta go get some batteries. So I like slowly walked in to the carpet booth and got batteries, and then slowly walked back out. But eventually, you got to go. Unfortunately, I don't want to go without somebody, but it was going on. A couple 5 minutes or so, and you're only supposed to get 1 minute. So, and then Parker Clemmy, who had a really good start. I think he qualified second. I believe he was in second, and then his car broke, and it was a stupid wire. I think his car did a runaway or something like that.
The old stupid wire.
Yeah. So, this class is going to be interesting with points because it's all jumbled up in the first 2 rounds. There hasn't been a solid front runner both times.
Yeah.
And what I like about Sportsman this year is I think we've had 3 heats of Sportsman every time. I think the first year we did Sportsman, we only had 1 heat. And then last year, I think we only had 2. And this year, I think we've had a solid 3 heats. So it's been really good.
That's pretty good.
So, Expert. So this was the humdinger, I guess. Is that that's a fun thing to say. I like saying humdinger.
Yeah, I don't. I think it makes me sound simple. But you should say it.
Okay. I could see that. You got to say it with, that was a humdinger. Yeah, check out that humdinger.
What is a humdinger?
I don't know. I thought it was like a thing.
Oh, it's obviously a thing.
Yeah, it's obviously a thing, but like a thing. Anyways, here, hold on. I've been saving this for a while.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've been waiting for that. I couldn't let it last anymore because otherwise it would get warm. Okay.
I can't have that.
So last round 1 was probably one of the better nitro races we've ever had. Came down to the last 2 laps between Mason and Jared Tebow. Mm-hmm. This time, the third wheel in round 1 was Jared Wiggins, who kind of hung around in third, and he actually got close to Tom or Mason there at the end. Mm-hmm. This time, Tom Rinnerknecht was the trio. He kind of rounded out the trio. Jared qualified first. Mason qualified second. Tom Rinnerknecht qualified third. Okay. It was Mason and Jared very, very close for about half the race. Then Tom really got into the mix, and he finished almost 11 seconds behind Mason, and then Jared finished 7 seconds behind Tom. So it wasn't as close as round 1. The interesting thing about this one was Mason was flying. I mean, he was knocking down 22 nines every once in a while. Tom also was flying. I think all these guys got 22-second laps at one point or another.
Wow.
But Mason really, really, really had it together for this one. I thought that Jared Tebow doing 10-minute pit stops was going to make this race a lot closer than it was.
Right.
So Jared didn't do 10-minute pit stops in the first one. but he did in this one. And sorry.
That's okay.
It was like
Take
when
your time.
it was like when I was racing Nitro, and the only way that I felt I could keep up with Seth at that time, Van Dalen, was if I did 10-minute stops and save myself, a pit stop. And the only way that would work for me is if I wouldn't have wrecked, right? So the minute it would always go on schedule until I made a one really bad mistake, and then all that time that I would have made back and made it a race was gone. You know, in many ways that was kind of how this worked for Jared. It seemed like his first half of the race was really pretty good, and then the middle of the race, his car looked a little angry. It looked a little hard to drive, and there was a few more wrecks thrown in there than there was in the first round. And Mason and Tom didn't make as many mistakes, and so even though he had one less pit stop, it still just couldn't recover from that with the way that Mason and Tom really were both driving. So, but the interesting thing whenever the Nitro races are here and you've got the pro level guys and the expert guys, because we don't do like a pro class, is the disparity in the finishing lap times. Oh my gosh. Hold on to that thought. We've got a super chat from Trevor Paul.
For how much money?
$4.99.
Okay.
And it's all going to, it says this all goes to Will for his man cave hot tub fund.
That's awesome.
Nice. So we'll add that to your tally.
Yeah.
I think
no pants allowed.
Yeah, I think you and I were both at $6. So look at that. You're going to be at $11.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trevor Paul.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, back to the thought. No pants, huh?
Yeah, not allowed in the hot tub
in
my basement, no.
All right.
Especially you.
Yeah, especially me. Dude, I made a joke. I don't know if anybody got it on Saturday, but I made a joke.
Probably not. It was one of your jokes, but go ahead.
Okay, so when we were waiting for Lucas Baker to get his car, and I started trying to stall a little bit, and I started talking about how I couldn't wait to go home and take a shower and go to bed. And I was like describing how I was going to take a shower, and then I was going to get my sweatpants out and put my legs in them one by one, and then I go, all three of them.
Oh man.
Anyways, back to my point. So when we have the pros here, though, you can really see the differences in the finishing laps, right?
Oh yeah.
So usually Mason, Jared, Seth, those guys are always, when they're here, they're pushing so hard in the main event that they end up being almost 4 or 5 laps in front of everybody. And in this case, it was 2 laps in front of Ashton Abdul, which goes to show how fast he's getting, actually. Finishing 4th. Zach Gastelum finished 5th with 73 laps. Then you had Graham Hill, one of the guys from Colorado, finishing 6th. He had 71 laps.
Ooh,
and then
Graham Hill, my man.
Yeah, Greg Baumel with 70. Jeremy Whiting finished 8th with 69 laps. Zach Van Dalen bumped up from the B, finishing with 69 laps.
Nice.
And then Jordan Gleckler with 63 laps. And poor Jordan, like Jared and those guys were racing hard, trying to get through with these guys, and Jordan would get out of the way, and then somebody would wreck, and they'd have to get out of the way again, and then somebody would wreck, and then he'd have to get out of the way again. And it was, for a little while there, I bet he was frustrated up there going, oh my God, I got to get out of the way again.
Yeah, I know I would have been.
Yeah. So, but, the cool thing about this too is, so this year sucks because the DNC, the Dirt Nitro Challenge, ended up on the same date as our February Techno Series race. Which I always tried to stay away from, but this year, because of the J Concepts race being the first week of February, I had to push things around a little bit, and I didn't want us to race on Valentine's Day. So it was the 20th, and I could have sworn that the DNC was always the 28th or whatever it was. Well, it's not. This year it's the 20th. So we're gonna lose Jared for that one. We'll definitely use. I'm sure Seth Van Dalen won't be here. Mason, I doubt it. Will be here. Tom probably won't be here. So, a lot of these guys unfortunately won't make round 4. I'm sure. So it'd be interesting to see if we can get Jared, Tebow, and Mason to come January 9th. And then the finals in March. I mean, Jared's got a shot at getting a poster. How cool would that be?
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
To have
that'd be
a
awesome.
Jared poster on the year for that. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Moving on. So then what we do after we race Nitro is we try to clean some of the air out because it gets super stuffy in there. Although we did get a whole bunch of garage doors fixed, so we can actually open them, because before we couldn't open them. So it's not near as bad as it was last year, for sure. But what happens is at night, the wind goes away. And so when the wind goes away, it doesn't push all the nitro out near as fast. So we got to rely on all of our fans and stuff, which still work. And when you run a couple electric races back to back, you can definitely tell that it works. But the first half of the mini truggy race, the far corner over by the dirt oval, was a little dark and a little smoky. But we got through it. It was fine. We got through it.
What compound tires did you run on mini truggy?
Gold.
You ran golds?
I ran golds.
Better than silver?
Yes. Last round I ran silver because that was all I had, and I was too cheap to buy tires. I put it on brand new silvers that I had actually glued up for the race in South Carolina, and then they ended up using AKA tires or something for the handout tire. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna hang on to these for my mini truggy. In my opinion, they're a little soft. They're a little soft for the track when it gets the way it does with the Winter Series.
Did you have tread on them?
On the silvers by the end of the night, no.
Right.
They burned off quickly.
So it's like the compound softer, and it's like the tread like folds over.
Yeah.
On our track a little bit, and I think that's what makes the gold a little more sturdier feeling tire. But if you're running slicks, it's like the silvers are way better than the golds.
I felt the gold compound truggy tires, mini truggy tires, worked through all the bumps way better than the silver did last round. Last round, my stuff was getting thrown around. Every little crevice out there, the silvers were catching.
Yeah. So then that makes sense. Like the gold compound being a little stiffer sidewall too.
Yep.
Your car probably feels a lot lighter feeling too. Maybe a little easier to nimble.
Way easier to drive
where you want it.
And I could definitely put it more where I wanted it to. So I was pretty happy overall with the truck. So for me, it was gold compound for sure. That might change. I mean, if when Friday nights, I don't know.
I've run silvers every Friday night, and it's pretty good.
Yeah,
and even with tread on them, it's silver, and they've been fine. But it's just like maybe the track wasn't there yet. Like if it had grooved up, maybe the silvers would have been too soft.
Right.
But because that's what I like when they first released that compound. I thought that was the story behind the compound is that there are 4 like tracks that haven't matured yet, like indoor clay tracks that hadn't grooved up and had character, as they say in the industry.
Oh, dude, this track had a lot of character this time around. It did the flake thing. It was coming off in flakes, which is not the way I like it, but nothing you can do about it until tomorrow when I'm able to fix it.
Yeah, everybody's running on the same track.
I know. It wasn't that bad. You just had to pick your spots. There was a part at the end of the straightaway, the big sweeper, where right in the middle of it was really busted up. So you had to go either on the inside or the outside. And if you watch the pros, like Jared and those guys, they picked the inside.
Yeah.
I would haul my ass around there and do the outside. So
yeah, whatever.
All right, mini truggy. We had a new person from Wisconsin show up named Dalton Balboa. I believe he's a techno guy, and he was
related to Rocky.
Nope, I wasn't going to make those jokes.
Why not?
He probably gets tired of hearing that. Somebody with a last name like that. Could you There was a family. There was a family here this week named Dawkin. Their last name was Dawkin, and I was like, "Isn't that like a heavy metal band?" They're like, "Yes."
Real original there.
Oh.
So no Rocky Balboa jokes from Dalton. For Dalton.
Oh, sorry,
okay.
Dalton.
So here's your TQ. I think there was a good handful of us that were in the running for TQ, but Dalton really got it together that second qualifier.
Yeah.
However, this guy ended up winning the main. I did get this. This is the first video I put up today. It was a really good race between me, Zach Van Dalen, and Dalton. Dalton made a mistake after the triple, and I got into him after that because he bounced off the pipe and I ran right into him. Zach Van Dalen sneaked through. Then Dalton and I got going again, and then if you watch the video behind us, I have no idea what happened. All I heard was a lot of bickering on the driver's stand between a bunch of old people, and then which is fine. That's what we're there for. And then the next thing you know, the three of us were kind of on our own for most of the race. I bumped into the back of Dalton once I was flying through the chump bumps, and I ran right in the back of him, took him out. So I waited. I thought that was going to be it for Zach getting away. The track reached up and grabbed Zach Van Dalen and got us back into it. And then I got around Zach with about maybe 3 minutes to go. And then Zach was catching me. And then, like, at some point he wrecked after the big sail it jump in the back. And then I was like, all right, all I got to do now is just not wreck a lot, not wreck at all. Otherwise, let him back into it. Mm-hmm. And I think Zach broke his truck in the last lap, but I think he had a big enough.
No.
He had a big enough lead on Dalton that he still finished second. Sean Van Dalen, last year's champ in this class, even though technically it wasn't an official Winter Series class, there was enough for 5 rounds of truggies. So we're going to get his picture on the wall. This guy made a mistake, and what happened was I sent pictures off to the poster people, and I did not have Sean's picture in there. So I pulled all the pictures from the Techno site from last year, and I forgot to pull his picture. So he's going to be up on the wall next round. He finished 4th. Dane Gangler finished 5th. Bryson Pavel was 6th. Ashley McCormick was 7th. James Ham finished 8th. Drew Dawkin, there's one of the Dawkins. One of their bump ups, he finished 9th, and Jay Kalahurka finished 10th. Jay Kalahurka did not run Pro 4 this time. He ran mini truggies, so very interesting. So that's fun. That truck's a blast. Those little things are fun. Such a cool class. We need to get Associated and Losing to make those.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. There's a lot of good questions right now on the chat, so I can't wait to get to them at the end here. So just hang in there, guys.
Any super chats?
Nope. Trevor's the only one so far.
You guys know what you need to do.
Okay, Pro 4. So just one heat of Pro 4 again this time. Sean Van Dalen was your TQ and your winner. Ashley McCormick qualified second, finished second. Easton McCormick qualified third, finished third. And then Kyle Quast. It is Quast. I thought it was Cast, but it's Quast.
Nice.
Yep. Finished 4th. Nick Poppenfuss finished 5th. Tyler Fleming was 6th. Nick Schultz was 7th. Steve Wall was 8th. Marilyn Roney was 9th. And Sam Helgeland was 10th. And I no longer make what it's like having a Roney jokes whenever Marilyn or Tony are on the track, because I actually looked up what a Roney is in Urban Dictionary, and it's not flattering. So
what is it?
Hang on, because I forget, but I know I'm.
No, wait a minute. No,
it's a family show.
Like, it's not that. It's like we don't want people to start making that.
Yeah.
Joke at him.
No, seriously, for a while there. So Vanilla Ice's second track on To the Extreme was I think it was called Having a Roni. I think that's what it was, and it basically was like what it's like having a Roni. I remember that from being a kid. So I used to do that on the mic whenever they would be in a race, and then I looked it up on Urban Dictionary. It was like, nope, not doing that anymore. So
It sounds like it's something like a calzone or something.
Yeah,
You know?
kind of.
Like it sounds like something I'd love to eat.
Yeah.
But because I love calzones. God, those are good. I haven't had one in so long. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nitro Truggy, A main. So last year, Zach Van Dalen pretty much dominated this class. Remember, this was the one that Emerson was running too, and then Jeremy Whiting and Greg Baumel were really always in the game there.
Mm-hmm.
So is Sean Van Dalen, actually, Papa Van Dalen.
Oh, yeah.
But this year, he didn't race this one. Your TQ was actually Greg Baumel, and he was dominating these guys, just driving away from everybody. And then his truck broke. And at the 23 lap mark, so he was way out in front, and then poof, Nitro Fun Suck comes, and he was out. So Jeremy Whiting ended up coming from the 4th spot to take the win. And he's another one of those guys from Wisconsin. This is their 2nd straight year coming. They really
That's
enjoy
nice.
it. I haven't done anything to piss them off, so that's always good.
That's a good day.
Yeah. Zach Van Dalen finished 2nd. Robert Rinaldi finished 3rd. Braden Billington finished 4th. Richard Greenwood was 5th. Chris Stapes was 6th. Patrick Mitrovic was 7th. KP Rains was 8th. Trent Ignachowski was 9th. And then Greg Baumel finished 10th. So, yep.
Interesting.
That was that. Good race, though. I mean, these guys did 70 laps in 30 minutes, so it was a 10-second gap between Jeremy and Zach, and then they had a lap over everybody else. So, you know. Let's see. Let's move on to Sportsman. So the last 2 races, we get the electric races to finish us up. And here we go again. This is Philip Hoke. Philip Hoke. TQ and win. He went 2 for 2 this time.
Wow.
Yeah. And last round, he was going to win, and Jackson Anderson caught him. And then I think Philip made a mistake, and Jackson got around him. This time, Jackson Anderson finished 2nd.
Yeah.
And it was a lot closer at the end than I thought. I looked with like 2 laps left to go. I looked at the thing, and I was like, oh, Philip's got 8 seconds. And I started doing something with my phone, and I looked back up, and Jackson was like a turn away from him. So I didn't really see what happened, but it was way closer at the end there. Could have been a repeat of round 1, but it wasn't. Philip held him off. Jackson finished 2nd. Parker Clemmy from the bump up spot, the 9th spot, finished 3rd. I think that goes really good for his points, too, because I think he finished pretty high in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Brody, that's the name. Brody Ignachowski finished 4th. That was the other Ignachowski. It's a ski name. You know how those are.
Yeah.
Derek Myrtle finished 5th. T. Roy Jackson finished 6th. Tyler Fleming was 7th. Nick Poppenfuss with 8th. Connor Herrick. So this family, Connor and Mason Herrick, came for the first time, and they finished this one finished 9th, and then Dan Gangler broke. He was in the mix, broke a front arm on his car. He I think it happened the lap before. I heard a snap. He wrecked on the big send it jump, and then the next lap he wrecked there again, and then he had a broken front arm, so he was out.
Wow.
Super chat. Jason Haley, $1.99. Ask Will about my servo question. He should know. What was your servo question?
Do
Do you know what?
now I remember.
Okay.
It has to do with raising or lowering the servo in the B6. I guess there's guys that are doing it where I guess like underneath the servo there's that like pocket
Okay.
where you could put a servo weight. I guess guys
Oh.
are milling the plastic there, 1 mil, and lowering the servo and the chassis all the way down.
Why?
Like for probably just to have everything lower in the car. It's kind of like that. Was that RC1? Not RC1. There's this company that makes a aluminum chassis for the B6 for carpet that lowers the transmission, and
okay.
it even like they mill out a pocket for the motor to be the lowest, like be like flat with the chassis.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that like it would just make the front of your car maybe a little smoother feeling, because you're going to have less body roll on the front by lowering your electronics or lowering your servo. But I don't know if it would be enough to really tell a whole lot of a difference. But I don't know. I've never tried it. I suppose I could, but I just haven't had a chance. First time I heard about it was when he asked me if I did it, and I was like, I never even heard of that.
Oh.
So it's on like, was it that Petite RC, like
Pettit?
the setup things? Yeah, Pettit. Is it?
I thought it was
Pettit?
Pettit.
I don't know. I have no idea. It's that thing.
Is it
that
French?
Nobody knows
Could
who
be
it is.
Petite.
Oui.
Oui.
But it's on that website. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe take a look at it, see what you think. Try it. You know, all this stuff you just have to try and see what you think it does.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not a big fan of grinding chassis anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. My car works pretty good the way it is.
Yeah. Okay. So these guys are lowering their servo by grinding away the servo mount a little bit. Is that how they're doing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of it.
Good question.
Yeah.
Everybody's always trying stuff with cars now.
Oh yeah.
You know,
it's like you have to do so much less to make it work, like cutting your motor and
you start thinking of stuff that you can do.
You have extra time to do other stuff. So.
All right, last one here for the Techno series. Then we'll go over some of these questions. There's some good ones on here. So, round one saw Jared Tebow basically drive away. Mason was back there, got a second, but probably would have liked to have been a lot closer to Jared. In this one, Mason was, where is he at? Mason was winning this one, kind of doing what he did. So he TQ'd E-Buggy as well, and he was staying in front of Jared. And then all of a sudden, how many laps was that? Let's see. That looks like about 8 laps in. All of a sudden, he was out. He had an issue, and was broke. And while Jared and Mason were going at it, Zach Gastelum and Ashton Abdul were going at it back there for third and fourth. Mm-hmm. So the way the race was working out was there was 2 main battles going on, one for first and second, and one for the final podium spot between the 2 X-Ray drivers, Zach and Ashton. Aiden Olson, who you can get a home loan or refinance at pivotlending.com because his dad works there, is the main guy there, was in 5th, and he was just kind of he was in that weird spot of no man's land where he was really far ahead of 6th, but he was pretty far behind 4th, right? But this was his first time running
electric
gate scale ever. He borrowed the car, and his dad said he borrowed batteries, he borrowed a speed controller, I think, basically just a bunch of borrowed parts to make this thing work. But anyways, so when Mason was out, Jared had the lead and had it by quite a bit. So all he had to do was just take care of his car and not crash, not wreck. And then so Zach Gastelum, Ashton Abdul were battling for second and third. Ashton had second until the very last lap. He got a little trigger happy over the kicker, went a little too far. He landed on top of, I think, Graham Hill's car, who was trying to get out of the way. And, and then Zach got back around him. Cross line in second. Ashton crossed third. Aiden finished 4th. Mason Herrick, the other Herrick kid, finished 5th. Mitchell Pavel qualified 6th, finished 6th. Graham Hill finished 7th. Eric Fletcher finished 8th. Conrad Bizey finished 9th. And Mason Fuller finished 10th. So right now, the points are pretty crazy. I'm going to bring them up just real quick because this year could get kind of interesting in many ways because
E-Buggy always does.
Well, not only E-Buggy, but
I'll reference you to my poster right there.
Yeah. But I'm also just thinking about, in general, some of these pros, it's possible they might not make 4 out of 5 rounds. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So you never know if somebody lingering back there in 3rd or 4th, at the overall title might have a shot. Because right now in Electric 8 scale, Jared and Mason, if you count a drop, are tied. But Jared's got the much better tiebreaker. Then it's Zach, Ashton, Graham, Aiden, Mitchell, Mason, Conrad, Easton, Eric, Roman Gaslam, and then a whole bunch of guys that finished in the B. And then if you look at, see if I can find Nitro. I don't want to have too much dead air here, but
yeah, that's fine.
There's Truggy, there's Buggy. So
we'll get it in editing.
Jared Tebow and Mason Fuller are 1 point apart. Jared's got a TQ and a win, and Mason's got a win, and they both have a second. So the TQ point from the first round for Jared is what has him up top, and then you've got Tom Rennernecht, Jared Wiggins, Zach Gastelum, Ashton Abdul-Graham, Jeremy Whiting, Greg Baumel, Chris Morant, Zach Van Dalen, Mitchell Pavel. That's your top 12. You could go down further, but those are all pretty much B main points. And then, like I said, for sportsmen, you've got Lucas Baker with a 101, so just 1 point over Philip Hoke with a 100. They both have not the best throw out right now. And it's all over the map here. There's a whole bunch of guys that have highs and lows, so that's going to be very, very, very interesting for them. And then sportsman, Electric Buggy, Philip and Jackson. Philip's got 1 point extra because of the TQ over Jackson Anderson. Otherwise, they'd be tied.
Mm-hmm.
And then behind them, it's Parker Clemmy, Bryson Pavel, Troy Jackson, Brody, Ignachewski, Derek Myrtle, Josh Shout, Tyler Fleming, Nick Poppenfuss, Don Drews, Dan Gangler, Kyle Quast, Connor Herrick. That's kind of your top 14 A main positions from the last 2 rounds. So it's going to be interesting. I don't right now, the way things are going, doesn't look like there's going to be any crazy ties because everything's kind of all over the map. So, those are the real main, the big main classes that we all kind of worry about.
Right.
So, I think now's a good time to take a pivot lending break. This will segue into the questions. We got a bunch of good questions tonight on the YouTube chat. I got to tell you, my after hour show on Thursday nights, the conversation on the chat's been really good the last couple times. So
that's always good.
Yeah, these guys are coming in hot. We'll try to start at the top when we come back. So let's take about a minute to listen to our sponsor.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Yeah! This is a Pivot Lending Update with David Olson and Don Zoller. Get some.
This is Don Zoller with Pivot Lending. If you are currently in a situation where you aren't sure what your credit looks like, or you've got some things that you need to clean up or repair, and you are looking to buy a home or you're interested in buying a home, give me a call. I can certainly help you determine what needs to be done to get your credit into a position where you are qualified to buy a home. We've got a great software program that we use to analyze your credit so that we can determine the best use of your resources to make the biggest impact on your future credit score. So give me a call at 402-715-9082. We can run through a quick breakdown and go through your current situation and see what we can do to get you into a better position and get you into a new home.
David Olson, NMLS 16099. Don Zoller, NMLS 277589. Pivot Lending, NMLS 109995.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
All right. No, Will's not even back yet. I think he had to go pee. He usually has to go pee during these breaks, and most of the time they're like 2 minutes long, so it's a little bit of a pee break. Look at that RC10 back there on his shelf. Look at that thing.
Okay, I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back.
Yeah. Have you started building your Clodbuster yet, by any chance?
No, have you?
I have.
God dang it.
Although mine's not. I'm doing the bullhead.
Bullhead?
Yeah.
The J Concepts kit?
No, I wish. I don't have the money for that one yet.
I'm going to build mine with that. I'm going to get that and then build mine with that.
I am. I got one of those. So I have a whole bunch of those cars, and one of them there's a Cloudbuster in there, but the one I started to pull out and started building before I even looked down at the body was the Tamiya Bullhead.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm building. I got. Yesterday I bought the Tamiya screwdriver because I got tired of trying to use my screwdriver with those stupid Tamiya screws.
I have one of those Hootie screwdrivers.
Ooh.
That came with the M8, the extra M18.
Yeah.
I have like 2 of those. Those are like the best Phillips screwdrivers I've ever owned.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So I'll probably work on it a little bit tonight before I go to bed, and then I'll keep working on it on the Thursday night after our show. So
yeah. No, I'm waiting to build mine until I have all the stuff to do the cool stuff.
I want the regulator. I think what I might do is I'm going to build this bullhead exactly as it is. I'm going to give it to Bob to paint, and then the Clodbuster, I'll probably do the regulator chassis as long as I can get my hands on one.
Mm-hmm.
So
I haven't thought of a good name yet for mine. Maybe that's what I'll do.
Try to come up with a name
like
first.
I'll wait for the name first as inspiration for the build.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start at the top here. We got, because we're way ahead of where we normally are. I kind of did that on purpose.
Woo!
So Nicholas Petrazak wants to know, what do you think about the new low-C Gravedigger monster truck? Speaking of monster trucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I think it's cool. I cannot wait to get my hands on one just to look at. We're going to get them in the store, obviously, to sell. But I'm very interested to see what the axles look like in person. I've watched enough YouTube videos on the truck itself now that I really want to see those axles. Because people are going to be taking the axles and doing other stuff with them.
Oh yeah.
They're going to have their own chassis and all that other stuff. So, but I think, I think it's all right. I think the one thing that, and I said this last week, is I'm interested to see the specific size difference. Hopefully, it's not too big. That it classes itself out.
Yeah, that's my concern.
So, because then you also run into the fact that maybe bodies wouldn't fit it, right?
Right.
So
that's what I would be most concerned about, because that's a really scale class. Like it's more of a scalers type thing.
Yeah.
So it's like if you couldn't get other bodies for it other than that one, they might kind of put a damper on things for some people.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's all I can really say now until I actually get see one. I was kind of hoping we'd get one of those early release things that Horizon does with that truck, but it didn't happen. They probably don't have enough of them with the way production and stuff's going on.
Right.
Peter Renault says that he was here. Hockey is canceled. He usually plays on Mondays and doesn't get to watch a show live.
Bummer. Well, and great that you're watching.
Yeah, it's great that you're watching. Also proves that you're from Canada, because you guys really like your hockey up there, I believe.
Yeah.
If I know my Canadians,
Yeah. So I had just watched Fargo for the first time like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, the movie?
The movie. And the whole next day, I was like, geez, whenever something would happen. Oh, you betcha. Yeah. That whole thing. And, I go up, I've been to, like, even just Sioux Falls, like, for work. I'll go there, and it's like a lot of the people talk like that. Or if you say oofta, you're, like, instantly in with a lot of the people from around there.
I pick up little nuances very easily. Like, I picked up your laugh. I don't know if you've ever noticed that.
Really?
Oh yeah, big time. There was a girl in junior high that I sat next to in multiple classes, and I wasn't cool back then. I'm not cool now, but I really wasn't cool back then. But for some reason, she was nice enough to talk to me, and I like worshipped her. I picked up her laugh too for about a year after that.
Yeah.
Laughed just like her.
That's cool.
Yeah. But when I would travel for Roar, doing whatever they had me doing, usually scorekeeper, because they apparently thought that I knew what I was doing with computers. The one time we were in Jersey, I might have told this already on here, but
yeah, we've heard this.
Dude.
No, you told it on Ripcast.
Did I?
But
I picked up the
anyway.
Jersey. I picked up the Jersey accent hard on there. There was I had nothing to do the first couple hours, right? So right down the street was a waffle and bagel place, and there was like
geez.
legit Jersey guys, like Yankee. They were wearing like Yankee jerseys, gold chains, hat turned to the side, and they were like, I don't know if I can do it anymore. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Mhm.
Like, I don't even know. It's not even very good.
And you're like, I would just like a slice of
Yeah,
pizza, sir,
I
or a bagel.
would like a bagel, please.
Mhm.
Oh, their bagels were
All right,
so.
let them go in. Let
Their
'em go ahead.
bagels were so good too.
Yeah.
Holy crap, their
Yeah.
bagels were good. Anyways, whatever accent that was, I picked it up for like a week after, and I came back home here to Nebraska, where I don't really think we have an accent. We just
We talk like everybody you've ever seen on TV.
basically
Anyway, yeah.
we say
Ah,
warsh.
jeez.
You say warsh.
I do not say worsh.
You don't say warsh.
No, I say wash. Anyway, I'll say it ironically sometimes, like referring to worshers.
Worshers?
I say washers.
How do you say iron?
Iron?
Iron.
Iron.
Iron. Am I saying it right? Iron.
I don't know.
I always
It sounds like like
Gretchen-
you're saying I run.
Oh, Gretchen gets really mad whenever I say iron. She's like, "You're not saying it right." I'm like, "Iron,
Iron?
iron."
Hmm.
And
Like soldering iron?
yeah, soldering iron. See, there I said it
Iron.
right, didn't I?
Yeah.
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 What about ambulance? Ambulance?
Ambulance.
I hear ambulance a lot.
Is that what I say?
No, I think you said
Ambulance.
ambulance.
Hmm.
I think I say ambulance right, but I know my brother-in-law says ambulance.
Hmm.
Anyways, I don't know how we got on this topic. Mike Fuller, we were talking about the INS race, and he's like, you could do Thursday, Friday, and mod. You could do stock Thursday, Friday, and mod and age class on Saturday, Sunday.
Hmm.
I mean,
That's an idea.
we might have to get creative. I mean, that's not a bad idea. If we have to limit it to 75 people,
Mm-hmm.
we could still hold a race if we got creative.
Yeah.
I could see that. Jason Haley, should I get a mini truggy or a new stadium truck, or should I get both?
Both, if that's an option.
dude, if that's an option, you get both. You go to the Plex, and we've got the mini truggy in stock, and then you just you wait for the T62 to come in, which I actually think we're getting from HRP this week. I think we might have already gotten them today. I didn't work at the store today, so I don't know if we actually got them. What's the better experience, though? That's a better question.
Stadium truck. Two-wheel drive stadium truck, I think.
Yeah, I would say there's more people to race in stadium truck, but we had 27 mini truggies on Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean,
More
if,
about what you like anymore.
if that trend
if you
can-
like, yeah. If you're into stock racing, I'd run 13.5 stadium truck.
yeah,
But if you want mod truck, I'd run the 4-wheel drive truck. I think that the 4-wheel drive mini truck or whatever is probably like the evolution of mod
it's pretty
four-wheel.
fun.
truck or mod truck. It's
Yeah.
like the evolution of mod truck. It's like taking the place of that.
It's pretty fun, and what's cool about it is mod, so you can put in whatever you want. I mean, I've got a 5.5, and I never do timing in the speed controller. I have a 5.5 with timing in my mini truggy with boost.
Yeah,
It
I should
goes
do that.
it goes way down the straightaway. You can hear it. It's really cool.
Mhm.
It is fast. So I really like mini truck. I think mini truck is pretty freaking cool now. I'm glad I got the truck.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I'm waiting
I
for it.
raced the VT64 at the 2019 HobbyPlex Spring Champs,
Yeah, something like that.
and I mean it was fun then. But that car just, because it's based off the B64, I think the wheelbase isn't quite correct.
Yeah.
It turned funny to me. The Techno trucks to me don't turn funny. They they do what they're supposed to.
Yeah. I'd get one if Associated made one.
Heck yeah, you should. Peter Renault just super chatted us. We got a $5 super chat in Canadian money from Peter Renault.
So it's like $40. Just kidding.
Rear mounted motor fan. J Concepts S2 body has scoop to the motor you can cut out. If you cut out the scoop hole, which way should the fan blow? It should always blow on the motor, right?
Yeah, I think that's just more ventilation to draw more airs in. I believe. Do you think
that without the cutouts, having the fan in there eventually just blows hot air onto the motor? Do you think we're overthinking?
The body's not airtight.
Do you think we're overthinking it?
Yeah, I think you're overthinking it.
Okay.
The body's not airtight, so I don't think it'd really matter.
That's true.
You definitely get more flow if you have a hole in the body, you know.
Yeah, that's true. We'll go back up here. Hopefully that answers your question. But I think the fan should always blow on the motor. I don't think there's any time.
I think so too.
I don't think there's any time when you don't want it to go on that. Whoa, geez, sorry. Which is better for racing, the Reedy 17.5 A Plus competition or the 17.5 S Plus torque? That's a question for you.
I think that the S Plus torque is the one you'd want. It's the newer one, I believe. Whichever one's the newer one is the better one. What were the two options again? The
17.5
and then
A Plus competition or 17.5 S Plus torque?
I'm not 100% for sure. I would make sure that those aren't like single cell motors, or one of them's not like a single cell motor.
Or the lock timing one too. There's a lock timing one out there, but you'd know because it's only $64 instead of $99.
Yeah. So you want the one that's for 2-cell. I think that the torque one is, I can't remember. There's one that would be better for off-road.
Hang on.
I think it is the torque one.
I'm going to A main.
Okay, I can't look, or I would have looked.
I'm going to A main right now, and then I'll see if I can bring it up, because I think there's the Reedy. Oh my God, my phone! Come on! Oh my gosh, phone! I'm gonna throw this thing. Reedy 17.5. Go, and then let's see what it comes up with here. S Plus competition torque. Oh, they're both S Plus. They're both S Pluses, but the see what this one says in the description. Because I think at the Plex, I think we only carry one version of the Reedy motor. I think that's why this one's kind of stumped me.
I think that the torque one is the one you'd want for off-road. Because that one's like
this
have
one.
More
so
grunt.
Yeah, this one says 1 to 2S lipo, and then this one is the torque one. No, it says 1 to 2S lipo too, but I think this one is high torque models are perfectly suited for high grip on and off road competition with tracks with short run ups.
Yeah, I would think it's more of I think it's like a tuning option for a smaller, tighter track versus bigger, more horsepower track.
Yeah, I think so. The torque one's probably your best bet.
Yeah, that's what I'd get.
Then I think if you're running an on-road car, I bet the other one's better.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Wow. Ronnie went. Just gave us $10.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, thanks,
but
Ronnie.
No question. Just my VT64 has been awesome. The driver, not so much.
Thanks, Ronnie.
I am glad that I got him. So I hooked him up with our last VT64 conversion we had in the store.
Nice.
Basically at cost. So that's how I've gotten him into that class. And his truck looks really good, actually, when I'm watching it.
Yeah.
So Mad Thunder had a question that we skipped from last week because we were running out of time. We're doing pretty good here. question from last week, but do you guys sim race?
No,
Have you done any of that?
no.
Yeah, me neither.
I used to race full size race cars, so it's like,
Yeah.
But
My deal is that my son is a jerk face, and he hogs up all of our super awesome computer time. He's been doing live stream gaming, so I don't get
Yeah.
I don't get any of our cool computer stuff. He hogs the Xbox, so I can't play Red Dead or the Resident Evil 2 remake, which I got for myself to play. Right when I got it, he took the Xbox to his room with him. So I'm kind of hoping my wife gets me a Xbox or something, but I don't think she's going to. But it would be cool. Just throwing that out there.
I have it on PlayStation. If you get a PlayStation for Christmas,
Ooh, maybe
you can borrow it. I already beat it like 5 times. So
yeah. Another one from Mad Thunder 2. This is a good question. What's your opinion on the current state of on-road RC racing, and what can be done to improve it? For improvement. Well, I have my own theory on on-road racing.
well,
What do you think?
I think that like I raced 12 scale. Are we talking like touring car or 12 scale? Because
Just as
I raced
on-road.
12 scale last year, and I showed up and drove. I borrowed a car from Craig, and I raced it, and I had a great time. The car worked great. The only thing that kind of like got me was guys that had 2 12 scales for a club race. They had one for high bite and one for low grip,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, how do you compete with that?
Yeah.
So, like, the thing that I think has kept on-road racing alive, at least at the Plex, is the box stock, show up, run your car classes.
Yeah.
With chassis that have limited tuning options, and it's more about driving.
Yeah.
I think that's what's really kept on-road going. But me personally, if I were to race on-road, I would want to run like electric modified asphalt. I think that would be the class that I would like the most.
I've always
But even
wanted to
then,
race.
you know,
I've always wanted to race 10 scale on road on the Lincoln track.
yeah.
You know.
Or even like carpet, I would want to run mod, but not a lot of people would want to run that around here. So
It's not fun.
you wouldn't?
No.
It's not fun?
No, it's not.
Why is it not fun?
Way too fast. 21.5, 20 US GT is fast.
I used to run GT.
I know, but US GT is fast. 20 with a 21.5
No.
motor in it, it's fast.
Yeah.
17.5 touring cars even faster, and that's getting up there.
Mm-hmm.
I have two things that as because I used to run. I used to be part of the Aurora XCOM up until 2000. Was it 17 when I left? And before that, I was region director. Before that, off and on, I've been on the race management team for Roar, and they always had me doing a lot of on-road races. And I saw the decline of on-road since 2008, and I think it priced itself out. I think that's the biggest thing was on-road priced itself out. You take as on-road racing was declining, off-road 8-scale racing was going up. Well, off-road 8-scale racing is more expensive, in my opinion, than on-road should be. But if you take the price of an X-Ray on-road car, and at the time you put it right next to a car that costs just about the same in an 8-scale, you look at the 8-scale, you're getting way more car for the same amount of money as you're getting in this on-road car.
Yeah.
And so
I think that once everything went to carbon chassis instead of tub chassis for touring car,
yeah.
that's what kind of killed it. But anyway.
So I think that on-road tracks should, to stay alive, should always have some sort of beginner option. And because we don't really have a ready-to-run alternative like off-road does. With off-road, if you want to get in, you want to get ready to run, you tell them to buy a Slash, and that's how you make it work. With on-road, there really is no option for that. Tamiya has a little bit of ready-to-run stuff, but they're so hard to get a hold of. It doesn't make any sense for hobby shops to try and keep up with it. But that's why the HobbyPlex has the TTO2 Tamiya class. Those cars are $130. They come with a motor and speed controller. All you need is a radio, servo, and batteries. And if you make a spec battery, and then they can buy a inexpensive controller and a decent $50 servo. You got yourself an on-road car to race, and that's fun. And you can still upgrade them a little bit as you go. That's what's kept the HobbyPlex on-road working. HobbyPlex on-road was dead. It was totally dead in 2014. We held the Nats in 2014. We had less than 100 entries. And then the local scene was non-existent. There was the same small group of guys that would come on Wednesdays, but we were only getting, sometimes not even 15 entries on a Wednesday. And now we're back up to 40. And then for our winter series races, we're getting anywhere from 50 to 80. Kind of depends on who shows up. But all of that, I attribute all of that to the inexpensive, more fun classes like the TTO2 class, the Euro trucks, where you're not allowed to do anything other than glue the sidewalls and put bearings in them. Other than that, everything has to be box stock. Those things cost $140. There it is. You race. That's it.
Yeah.
And then I think that classes like the Vintage and USGT also have helped get on-road back to a level of sustainability, because you don't necessarily need to have the latest greatest car like you would in straight up touring car.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That's kind of what I think. I saw that question and I was like, ooh, I got ideas about that question. So just from the HobbyPlex's own experience, that's what I think. You got to have some sort of entry level way to get into auto racing. And then those guys, they'll see the $500 cars driving around and they will want one at that point. And then once they get hooked, then they're into it. But it's hard to get people to come to a track and say, how do I do that? And then you go, oh, we got to buy this, and then you got to buy this, and you got to get all this. And then they start to add it up and they're like, Jesus, I can get into off-road for like a third of that,
Right.
So yeah. That's what I think. Okay. A couple more here, and then I'll try to cut it short at I think we're at 1 hour, 15 minutes. We'll cut it short here in a little bit. Jason wants to know, any chance of having a racing clinic set up at the Plex? Any kind of racing setup clinic at the Plex? I think there's always a chance. I think we've tried to do that before, didn't we?
Yeah. We had like a day where people would come and if anybody had questions, they could just ask us.
Didn't we get one person to show up to that?
Yeah, I thought it was maybe less than that, but less than one.
Like we had all of our pits, we had our pit spaces all set up. I was all ready to have people come and show them how to build shocks and build diffs and all that, and nobody ever came, and it was free. Didn't even cost anything. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of how you could do something like that, but it'd be cool.
Jared did one of those, and he had it pre-registered, and people signed up for it and paid him.
Yeah.
And it was good.
$100.
Yeah, but it was good. It was worth it. I mean, he
and you got a set of tires.
Got a set of tires, and he straight up, he had one-on-one time with everybody. He had cones out on the track trying to show how to do lines. He taught everybody how to walk the track. I mean, it was a really in-depth thing. It was really cool. So I don't know. Well, we would have to see. The other problem is, as always it is at the Plex, is time. It would have to be, realistically, I probably wouldn't have time to do one.
It's almost like you'd have to do it after a round of the summer series or something, or the day
following
after.
Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, where the track's still grooved up and you can
it's possible.
Drive their car and help them with setup and if then statements like you do this, then that.
I think what's his name? Zeke Bollinger was planning on doing that. He asked us if we could do that this Sunday after a summer series this year. I told him absolutely. And then it never materialized. So they had it in their mind. I mean, it's almost like we need to invite somebody to come and do it. Let's see. Would you buy a car from unknown brand if it borrowed parts from more well-known cars? Example, the Zephyr B2 uses parts from a B6.2.
What's that?
Never heard of it before, but I think it's a China clone. It would be my guess. And my personal answer to that would be never, because you're just enabling these companies to rip the other companies off.
Yeah. I would question your overall experience with the car like that. Because the materials that car is made out of isn't going to be as good as like a associated car, like the actual name brand stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, you go to the store and you get the best choice Hee Haw brand soda instead of Mountain Dew. Like, it's not as good.
Yeah.
But I mean, will you be able to buy?
It's like macaroni and cheese. So I have a rule in my house. I've had a rule in my house ever since Gretchen and I started living together. Okay. No off-brand macaroni and cheese. Absolutely no off-brand Miracle Whip. No off-brand oatmeal pies. And no off-brand cottage cheese. Those are the 4 things that if you get off-brand, you are guaranteed that it's going to suck.
Yeah. So, like what I was getting at, like the materials that I mean, will you be able to buy that car and make some laps with it?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. But is it going to be as good as like the real deal? Probably not. And you could say, well, I could just update the parts that need to be updated to the associated ones. Well, then you still have, like, why don't you just buy the car? And just get all the stuff right.
You just put that brand does not exist. I just made it up.
Oh,
but it gets the point across, I guess.
Yeah. Nope, I'd never do that.
Yeah. Another one, could a 1/14 scale RC car race with a 1/10 scale forward-wheel drive, if allowed? I mean, I don't know. I think there's a car from, I think it's WC Toys or something like that, that's been blowing up YouTube. Like, all these YouTubers are getting this car, and it's brushless, and it's got metal parts on it, and it's getting like top reviews. And I think I actually saw somebody bring one into the Plex the other day, and of course they needed a part for it, and we didn't have it. I think the question is, could something like that race with a 1/10 scale 4-wheel drive car? I mean, I suppose it probably could. I just, I think those are mostly meant for taking to the skate park or something like that.
Yeah.
You never know. I don't know. Didn't Dane Gangler used to race his mini low-C e-buggy? What was that thing called? It was 1/14 scale or something like that. He used to race that in Plex Spec all the time.
So like the Mini 10, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, maybe that was it. That mini truggy.
Ashton Abdul had that. He ran that in Plex Spec.
Oh yeah, Ashton used to do that too. That's so funny. I forgot about that.
Yeah, man, that's how he got started.
Yeah.
Then he started racing 8 scale.
Yeah,
exactly.
He went from that to e-buggy. Okay, one more. Then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, why not?
B74.1 or 74.1D, best overall. This is from Lance Murray.
Are you gonna race carpet or dirt?
Well, that's just it. They're two different. I mean, they're basically two different cars.
No, I mean, okay. So the 0.1, like no D, that one's the carpet car. That one's gonna come with the slipper and the stuff to set it up to run carpet. If you get the D version, that one's gonna come with the correct sway bar, springs, and the center diff to just throw it out there and race dirt. So you can you can change the car over pretty easily from dirt to carpet. You just have to do like some setup changes and change the bars. And
is anybody running a diff on carpet? Any of the setups?
Center diff?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
It's all
want
sway.
to.
It's all slipper, right?
Yeah, you'd want a slipper. Like it is, because we had a problem when we were in. Was it Thunder Road?
It probably wouldn't accelerate, right?
No, it just it grabs weird, and like your car. I didn't drive it with it in it, or with the slipper, or with the center diff in it. I just ran the slipper, but there's a couple of guys that were having a hard time keeping their slipper together, and that's why they updated the slipper. Now it's like
Yep.
that locked in style.
Yeah.
Cole Tollard borrowed my diff. I had a center diff for my car, but I just I didn't have it in there for carpet, and he borrowed it because he needed it, and so he ran it, and he was like, that was no good. But I would think that, like with that much grip, like your front or your rear tires don't do nothing. It just transfers all that power to the front.
Yeah.
And it would make your car like really like unpredictable, and like you turn the wheel and pull for throttle and your car would just like pull off in one direction or the other. And
so would you say the carpet car would be easier to set up for dirt because you could still use the slipper if you wanted to?
if you're running 13.5, you could, but honestly, like even the 13.5 guys are running the center diff.
Okay.
So
either way, you would have to either car you would have to buy a center diff or slipper depending on what surface you're running on.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I would just, if you're going to race carpet with it, get the regular car. If you're going to race dirt, get the dirt car.
Okay.
But, and you can, like I said, you can change it over. Like, let's say you're going to run the summer series with it. You could change that over to carpet for the carpet season if you wanted to, or vice versa. If like you want to finish out the season and carpet with a 4-wheel drive buggy, then get the carpet one and then change it over.
Yeah.
But or get two. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had two. I had a regular. And
All right. I think that's long enough. That was a good group of questions. You guys are pretty awesome. Thank you guys for the super chat today. I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah.
Especially Ronnie.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Yeah, Ronnie.
It's like a $10 tip.
Man, Ronnie. Yeah. How many people did we have watching?
Right now there's 22. I don't know what the max is. It tells me afterwards what the max.
Oh, really? Let me know.
Number,
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for listening to us BS for an hour.
Yeah, totally.
It's awesome.
So, do you guys have a Facebook page to take questions for the show? We do. You can usually search HobbyPlex Show Podcast, and it'll come up on the Facebook search. Just like that page. However, most of the questions we're taking nowadays, I stopped asking for questions on the Facebook page because a lot of times we never got any. It's way easier to just have them here in the Facebook chat or YouTube chat. So,
yeah, you could. You can message me directly too.
Yeah,
whatever.
Too.
So if we're not friends on Facebook, add me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Nick Nuthouse just gave us another $10. Great show. Yeah, great show tonight, guys. That's awesome.
Wow. Made my day.
We got enough. I think we have enough now for Will to come up and be up here in person finally.
Yeah, maybe.
So.
I wonder how much longer we could hold out here and get more super chat money.
All right, we better go though because my wife wants my son's hanging out here in the studio and he's got school tomorrow, so we got to go.
Yeah, I got to do the dishes. So.
Oh man, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in. This was a good one. I love talking about the Techno series. I love getting all the questions, and I love you guys for watching. So, this is sponsored by Pivot Lending Group. You can find them at pivotlending.com. If you get a home loan or refinance, it's not just an Omaha thing too. They're all over the country. So don't be afraid to give them a shout out if you guys are looking for a new house or something or need to refinance. Ask for Don Zoller. Make sure you mention our show. $500 lender credit or 0.125 off your interest rate. So don't forget about that. Yeah. And ask for Aiden Olson's dad because we think it's funny. Yeah, always ask for Aiden Olson's dad, then talk to Don Zoller. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that's it for us. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you on Thursday on After Hours. If not, we'll be here next week on Monday. Yeah. Bye, you guys.